Today we're gathering around the campfire with Diana, a QHS MAC member whose life is as exciting and grounding as a hike through the mountains. But what trails did she tread to reach these heights? Let's trek into the wilderness and discover the adventures that led Diana to where she is today.
Hi everyone, I'm Diana and I love QHS. Cynthia's is spot on when she asked us if we could see ourselves in each other's prequels. Yes, I see hope. I see the same longing to see this world a better place for all of us. Our paths are different, but our goals are very much the same, and I'm thankful for this opportunity to do a prequel. I'm granddaughter of 2 West Virginia coal miners, rough and tough and determined men who labored hard for their families. Papa Melvin's dad, my great-grandfather on my mom's side, was a twin. He and his twin brother married twin sisters, and the sisters were Ida and Virginia Trump. So my great-grandmother was Virginia Trump. That sounds like a claim to fame, but it's just a fun fact. I haven't tracked any of my heritage. It just makes me grin. My mom's mom was Native American. She was Cherokee, so we called her Mama. And at some point in her childhood, her family lived on Davy Crockett's land in Tennessee. She was a beautiful soul, studied her Bible her whole life, and eventually began to preach in her small country church. So I've had a wonderful, salt of the earth, good grandparents. My mom and dad were high school sweethearts and were starting their senior year in high school when the Glen Rogers coal mines closed, and of course that put most men looking for new jobs all at once. My dad's dad, Grandpa Ole, moved to New Jersey since the mines had closed, and he took my dad's siblings along, leaving my dad behind to finish high school and then to marry my mom. They quickly joined the rest of the family in New Jersey because I was on the way. I was born in New Jersey. 11 months later, my brother was born. My mom is a tough woman. Irish twins, double tax deductions, all in their first year of marriage. They were busy. All my cousins were also born in New Jersey, and all the men worked for a small family-owned manufacturing company. And although I can't remember much of those days, I love the stories of those years. I'm told my grandfather was a great family guy. Grandpa died in 1967 in New Jersey of stomach cancer at the age of 52. My dad took the role of caring for my grandmother, and the family circled all around, literally. Aunt lived next door, and around the corner was Grandma's house, and my uncle lived across the street. The family moved to South Carolina because the company they worked for in New Jersey moved to this small little town in South Carolina, and that's where I grew up. I had a perfect childhood. Elementary school was across the street, the baseball field was next door, and lots of girl cousins. Daddy was quite a go-getter. Stayed in the company, climbing from a welder to the highest position, plant manager. Considering it was a family-owned business, he went as far as he could. He was a race car driver on the weekends, won lots of trophies, taught me to water ski on campouts, and later became a pilot. And most of all, I knew he loved me. After college, I took my first job with National Bank of Georgia, and on my very first day, I met my husband, the love of my life, a true blue Italian boy. We just celebrated our 36th anniversary. We have 3 children and 2 granddaughters. And what an honor I received when they named both grandbaby girls after me. No accolades are important anymore, just those babies. After a few years, my husband and I both left our bank jobs to join his parents in real estate in a small town just north of Atlanta, Georgia. Lots of house building, developing several subdivisions, designing and constructing commercial warehouses, and 2 award-winning commercial office communities have kept us busy. As I look back on these busy 40 years, I know I've been in a perfect place with lots of love, which helped me survive the rough times. 1 year after I met my husband, my brother was killed in a gun accident. The first death I had ever faced as an adult. I was shocked, heartbroken. He was too special to lose. Little did I know his death was the beginning of a domino effect of losses and struggles. My grandfather in West Virginia died of black lung. A few years later, my dad. Daddy was only 52, same age as his dad. I had a toddler and my daughter was just 5. That was just too much. Too much. I felt like I had lost my backbone. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and gone in 4 months. 4 years later, my daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. We were devastated, overwhelmed, and I felt so responsible. What had I done wrong? She was a perfect child. What went wrong? 24 spinal taps, 8 bone marrow aspirations, chemo every day. I learned a lot. And most of all, I learned my husband was truly my best friend. We were at war, fighting for our daughter's life. My mother-in-law made a long list of survivors and helped with our younger boys. We dropped our business projects and we focused on happiness and love. My daughter was a survivor, determined, smart, and so cool as a mom today. She chose medicine as a career and now is a physician's assistant for a local ENT. But you know the most puzzling thing about that whole experience? Not a researcher, not a nurse, not a doctor, no one asked about her lifestyle. Did we live near chemicals? Was she exposed to radiation, a farm? Anything. Nothing. No one asked the first question. No one was looking for answers. No one asked why. Why this perfect child? A few years later, my closest cousin died of a stroke. She was 46. Then another stroke with another cousin. She was 48, and she survived. She went back to school and became a cardiac nurse. A few years later, another cousin, another stroke. Both grandmothers died, one of colon cancer and one of heart disease. Also, 2 uncles died too early. And I felt alone, truly alone on this earth. It was just too much death. In 2010, I thought I had developed allergies, and after several doctor's visits for head colds and a persistent cough, a naturopath referred me to an ENT who specialized in mold allergies. He found that I had a fungus ball in my sinuses, right up here. And that fungus ball had consumed a part of the bone above my eye, leaving just a little membrane. He told me also that I had a hernia, and he wouldn't repair my sinuses until I had the hernia completed. He also told me I was lucky. 18 months longer, and the fungus would have moved into my brain, and that there would be no coming back from that. Close call. I had 2 surgeries, lost 30 pounds, renovated our home, and began a new way of life. I do my best to stay away from mold, yeast, and sugar. Feeds it. I exercise, not enough. but enough to keep me healthy and keep my blood work in line. 4 years ago, we lost my mom's sister, Melly. Melly had Down syndrome. She lived to 63. She was precious. Precious. She never went to school, but she learned to read and write. My mom could understand her when she talked. Most of us couldn't. My mom was her caregiver for 20 years, and after her death, my mom struggled with depression, developed a blood clot, neglected a UTI, and ended up sepsis with an abscess on her liver and one on her brain. Both abscesses required surgery. She survived. She beat the odds. Mom now lives in a memory care unit across the street from my neighborhood. Best part is, she's a QHS member. I can't wait to see what she does in the future. It's going to be fantastic. Last month, my father-in-law, Pete, passed away while we were on a family vacation in Florida. He had a systemic heart attack. I had shared QHS with him. Not joined yet, but I thought it was just a matter of time. I was so sure the QArc was in his future. I convinced myself he would be there to see this world change. I did not chat in the Telegram channel about his life, the struggles he suffered after the heart attack, because I was convinced he was going to pull through it, recover, and tell his own story, write his own prequel. He was a magnificent man. And I bet he's loving this video. So I've chosen to tell you, to recall all these losses, these struggles, decades of feeling alone, because it is why I love QHS. Each family member I lost, I would say to myself, this is not what God intended. This is not the way we should be living. This cannot be right. QHS is paving a path to healing, and I am changing history for my family. We, a QHS family, will build a healthy nation again. I know it's time to say goodbye, but I'd like to leave you with this past little story that changes everything for me. Several years ago, can't remember if it was a key replay or YouTube, but the lesson was sharing that when our loved ones, our family, crosses over, they never really leave. They're always close, waiting to guide and waiting to help. Tears swelled in my eyes when I heard it. I knew in that moment I had wasted so many years, feeling alone and sorry for myself, missing my family. I said to myself, you fool, all these years, you have had an army in heaven. You have an army ready to assist. Get off your ass and get busy. That little message made such a difference for me. It has unleashed me. I chose to film this in my office, but not to talk too much about my career. But since we're preparing to get really busy, bringing forth this golden age, here's the business side. I'm an accountant. I file 7 sets of tax returns every year. Perhaps that will change with Trump in office, but the detailed records behind those will not. Every penny is always accounted for. I've managed money since I was 14. Our 3rd generation family business is the only commercial management service provider in the state of Georgia that developed, constructed, and has remained on site, providing leasing and service for our tenants for over 25 years. Usually it's built, sold, outside management company comes in and manages. We've stayed on site and given the best service we could. We have fun working together. My youngest son has taken over my position so I can retire. Nonsense. I'd get bored. I'd get lazy. We have too much to do. My future. I'm considering what to do first. There's so much to do. My heart is here at QHS. Truly. I love working with the MAC group, and I'm anxious to see what's next. Good things are coming. I know the ones who need a home. Atlanta is hurting. This nation is hurting. So which will I do first is my only unknown. I've laid plans for years. I've grown spiritually, and I have unleashed from the past, and I'm ready to roll. I'm so thankful for getting to do this prequel and for all the ones I've watched. Thank you for sharing. They're beautiful. Isn't Cynthia brilliant? She has brought us together in a unique way, allowed us to be ourselves, to individually prepare for our divine gift, the QArc. And at the same time, our lives are becoming twined together by sharing our experiences. That's so good. Good stuff. Thank you, Cynthia, for paving this path. It's been wonderful being together. And thank you for watching and for sharing. And much love to you all. Bye for now.
Join us on the Prequel, where every story matters and every voice is heard. Because here at QHS, we're all about healing, learning, and growing together.